Welcome back, folks. Some more Mario action coming right at you, this time with Protoman versus Heisenburger, the battle of the American consistency guys. Protoman, of course, been making a name for himself in these leagues with some nice consistent finishes. You know, might not be the absolute top player here, not going for like insane strats like certain double jump strats or things like that, but he always gets some pretty decent times. We can see in 11th place with a 2-6 record. Heisenburger with the same. So one of these guys will be advancing up into the tier of like Wilco, Drogi, those type players. The other will unfortunately be sitting like still towards the bottom of this bracket, but it's a pretty even matchup here. Heisenburger notably doing a lot of 120 recently as well. So we'll see, exactly what happens with these two players, but both have pretty similar play styles. Protoman maybe a little more conservative. So we'll see how exactly that ends up. I'm Electric, and I'm joined in this race by Padronis. How are you doing before this, my man?
Hello. I'm doing pretty well, and I think this is definitely a very even match. Like, both of these runners have, like, maybe a little bit of underwhelming performances here and there, and I think, like, in general, they're not quite on the skill of cheese and do whatever. But, like, they're really good for each other, I think, and whoever wins this, will actually have, like, a solid win to take home, because it's not like they're easy targets most of the time, but, like, you never really know what he's gonna do. Like, I would say he's a better player than he looks like, but he always makes like weird mistakes. I don't really know how to describe it. And Proto is a very comfy player. So we'll kind of see how this race turns out, but I think overall, like, I would slightly edge it to Proto Man. We'll just have to see what happens to Heisen if he like can avoid meltdowns.
Yeah, that's really going to be like the biggest thing is just not losing a bunch of time to strange things. And we're getting a quick start here. Protoman with the Punkei style long jump setup for Lakitu. Both with the
No,
ledge grab directly synced. Well
that's
then.
fun.
And of course, the ledge grab skip loses even more time. Like it's at least an extra second or so, just because you lose all your speed, and the ledge grab, of course, takes time.
Yeah.
And so now advancing into BOB. I doubt we're going to be seeing the double island hop again. And of course, yeah, we're seeing two bomb clips, as is normal.
Yeah.
No double island hop shenanigans, of course.
Both on English version, so no time difference between the versions as well. So this will be pretty much what you see is what you get. Kind of nice.
Yeah, it's nice not having to keep in mind, like throughout the early game, that if a player's on JP, they have that couple of second advantage that will like slowly dissipate over the course of the run. And both players going for that, like, oh, Tyson just a little too close to that door. It's pretty rare to actually see that mistake. So he has to be told real quick that he doesn't have the key for the door he's not even meaning to open. But not a huge time loss.
Classic Heisen, to be honest. I love him, but like he just does weird things, and I don't know, like how they always happen to him as opposed to other people. Like surely he's had his fair share, but nope.
All right. 13-0 for Proto, 12-8 for Heisen. Not bad slide times. Like, we don't talk about it a whole lot, but actually getting something like a 12-6 reliably is a little bit challenging. Like, you have to have grinded the slide a fair amount. And, like, for some perspective on, like, the human error element of it, the task does the same strat. Like, there's no real difference, but actually gets a 12-3. So if you get like the best possible like bounces off of your walls, best possible angle, jump, dive, everything, you can theoretically get a 12-3. But I think like the best recorded time ever has been a 12-4 by a human. And most of the time 12-5 is like the limit of what you'll see. And that's on like a really, really good attempt. So like there's a lot of room to lose little tiny bits of time during that strat that you wouldn't exactly see offhand. Now, right here, though, a time loss you can easily see. Protoman, unfortunately, missing Cannonless, but a nice backup with Wild Blue real quick.
Yeah, Heisenberger did get it, so that'll be actually putting him back in the lead by just a couple seconds.
Right, now let's see. Heisen probably going to be doing Alice now. Oh, weird movement there, but able to back it up very nicely.
Alright, second try for Proto as Heisen actually gets Alice first try as well.
And so, Proto getting the clip, nice. Now Heisen going into full cycle 100 coin rather than pro, and Protoman doing the same here. So with this, they're doing the same movement as the most optimal way to do this star, but they forego getting the first line of 5 coins, which gives them a little bit of leeway to lose a little momentum here and there and still make the platform cycle they're looking for.
Yeah, it's
Protoman
definitely
makes
the
his
safest RTA option.
Oh, Protoman falls down instead of jumping. So Heisenburger gets the cycle handily, but Proto is definitely going to have to take some type of backup here.
It's a pretty
Just
good
gonna miss the
backup
cycle.
there. Doing a triple jump wall kick into the sliding wall kick. So like that definitely takes a bit of getting to. But he gets it. Heisenberger though is really accelerating ahead in the lead, not messing up 100 coin, and so far having a good wumps. So really only the miss lack to give there. Did have
Yeah,
to
and I
break the
mean,
box.
like, if you replay like what happened in your mind, like Protoman missed Canonless once and missed a cycle on 100 coin. Like both of those were caused by pretty minor mistakes that in any other situation really would have lost like maybe a second or two. But in this case, Protoman's sitting on like 20 plus seconds of time loss because of those 2 little mistakes.
Yeah.
That's why Womps is just such a devastating, brutal stage that like I I don't think there's any runner that really likes Swamp still. You might like some of the movement. Like 100 coin is pretty cool, but no one likes having to deal with being in this stage. Like you just want to get the heck out as soon as you can and just continue on with your run when you're in PB attempts.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit of weird movement from Heisenberger and taking an extra little fall there due to how he had to grab that star. It was just super weird. Thanks for the sub, Dr. Wings. And that's probably really the worst part of 70 is that you always have to deal with Womps before Dark World. So like you'll finally get through this stage on a really good pace, and then something really stupid will happen in Dark World. You lose a minute and have to reset.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only thing that I think anyone would wish BLJs would be allowed for, so you can do LBLJ and just get Dark World out of the way right at the beginning. Like if there was a way to only allow LBLJ, I'm sure that some runners would want to go for it.
Yeah, you're definitely right. It is nice that in 70 you don't have to have LBLJ in races. I think that generally helps make a good race category.
Oh, for
But
sure.
definitely for PB attempts, having to do Dark World is always a little bit annoying and a bit scary.
All right, now top of the tower coming out from Heisen here, and Protoman sticking with the owl, no owlless. A very comfy strat here. Using the owl instead of owlless loses only like 4 or so seconds, and it's only losing time because these players are on N64 and there's additional lag caused by this tower being spawned. Like in particular, it's really there's a lot that comes up during the star grab animation. If you like time out this star grab animation versus most of the other ones, this one does take a fair amount of time longer just due to that lag. Now Heisen with his second slide here. 12-9, all right.
You got a guess for Proto? Not too late to throw it out. I'm gonna say maybe 12-8.
12-9.
Yeah, kind of boring top out guesses from the commentators. So what can you expect?
Yeah, my crystal ball is in the shop. I just like, you know, I can still get decent guesses now and again, but they just have to be boring guesses.
Yeah.
Heisenberger with some pretty nice flying here. Taking his turns really well. Let's see what Proto can come up with here.
Proto finishing out win cap, but Heisen's already in Dark.
All right, let's see what he can pull out in Dark World. Good movement so far. Oh, missing the wall kick, though.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty costly. I think Shig might be dead in the water, but he might be able to barely snag it. But okay, it's definitely dead now, for sure. I have to take normal cycle here.
A little bit of an opportunity for Protoman.
It's not a ton of time save, but it does help, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just kind of a weird ending generally. But Proto looks like he's in good shape for True Shig. Or like a later cycle here. Oh, what? Okay. Okay.
Lucky to wait it out.
I mean, wait it out over dying, sure. That was very strange of a mistake there. Not sure exactly what happened. I think maybe he wasn't confident in his angle after he jumped or something like that.
I guess so.
And I will never understand why he opts for the camera angle he does on the ending here. Like, just turn the cam like while you're like doing your second long jump or something.
Yeah.
Cool Cat. If you want to talk about like time save, for instance, Wii VC is the fastest possible version because the way it emulates the game, it has faster loads than even like PC emulators, but the stick mapping is going to be weird on that version. So like the best emulator version would be like one that you set up on PC.
Yeah.
Wii U is by far the worst MU version because it has input lag in addition to like just all sorts of other weird design choices that make playing the game worse.
Yeah, definitely stay away from that. Project 64 version 1.6 is the emulator version that goes on the leaderboards if you're looking to submit a run. There's definitely all sorts of resources in the Discord if you're looking to do that. So, check it out.
But yeah, as a beginner, I would stay as far away from Wii U as possible. Like as any kind of player, I would stay as far away from Wii U as possible. It's a notoriously bad version. In addition to the input delay, there's also like just random input drops that happen for no good reason. Like it's not a well-made version of the game at all. I don't understand how it released as is. And you see that same problem with like every Wii U N64 VC release. It's just bad.
Heisenburger's not going for a wall kick, he's actually going into the slide. Kind of interesting. We do at least know he is on CCM 18. No, Protoman, we'll see what star he goes for. Nice moonwalk for Heisen.
Yeah, getting a little bit stopped by the door, but very, very nice pro walk besides that.
Okay, a penguin. There you go.
Yeah, on the surface,
Quite
it looks
easy.
like a weird first star choice, but if you were to fail wall kicks will work, you would have to see the text box again had you done that as your first star. So this is just kind of like just to make sure that you don't take an extra time loss in case that star goes bad.
Yeah, we'll see Heisen go for the penguin now, and Protoman back in here. I actually don't know if he does CCM 17 or 18. I feel like I've seen him do the penguin race before.
Yeah, he's committing to 18 now. He's the type of player that I'd be really shocked if I ever saw him go for double plus. Like, it's just not really in like his play style ethos.
Yeah.
Now Heisen getting started with 100 coin. Like I was kind of talking about last race, like one thing that we don't talk about a ton in the comms booth is like some of the precise camera work you have to do to get strats to work. And like this star is one example where like if you don't hit Mario Cam and C down at the right time, you might have to change how exactly you approach that tree in order to make sure you grab the coin without grabbing the tree.
Yeah. And a lot of it does come with intuition. Like if you've done it enough, like if a runner does it too late and they're like, oh, I'm going to go into the tree here, they'll actually like hold back and do a kick instead just so they see it ahead of time. But like it is a lot of repetition and also intuition.
Yeah. You have to be focusing a lot. Like I've noticed that when you go into the star, like one telltale way of seeing if you hit C down late is if the cam zooms in on Mario before like going to its normal position. Everything looks the same, but it's just slightly shifted to the left. So if you do just a quick bump into the upright notch, it'll fix everything. But like you have to be paying a lot of attention when you enter the star to know to do that.
I believe that just happens if you don't hit Mario Cam and C down on the same frame. It's
right.
R then C down. as opposed to simultaneous. But we got Heisenburger and Protoman getting through. We don't really talk up the start too much, but if you mess it up, that really does change the race drastically. So you always like to see that one go smooth.
Yeah, it's such an it's like Womps but amplified times 10. Like you make a tiny mistake or like the penguin pushes you out of the way of a couple coins and then you just lose a minute. It's nice and fun.
Good and fair. That's the phrase of the week in the industry.
That's the motto of this game. The game never takes away good runs from you for dumb reasons. Never. It's not like this is one of the hardest, most technical games out there where forgetting just a tiny nuance of the game's engine could cost you a bunch of time. No way. That never happens.
It is also interesting that, like, you can learn the game very deeply in terms of knowledge, or you could just kind of, like, be Lunar Jump and just grind runs till you get good and not even know somewhat basic things. But at least it is, like, very accessible for anyone who wants to learn it. I would highly recommend it if you're interested. But yeah, it is very deep if you do want to look at it, because like Zelda, it's so much different, because you look at a run and you have no idea how it works. Mario, you can kind of tell from the eye test, but there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, you can tell the basics of how the run works, but until like you sit down and try to play it yourself, you don't realize just how much nuance goes into a lot of this movement. There are a lot of just tiny rules scattered throughout the game. Like one easy one that I can think of that I didn't realize until someone told me is when you long jump into a slope that Mario will slide down, if you hold Z when you hit that slope, you can jump earlier. Normally it takes like 4 frames for Mario to be able to jump on a slope like that, but when you're holding Z, what I think happens is internally the game wants to start another long jump, but then says, oh, the slope you're on won't let you long jump. So it cancels the jump, but it leaves Mario in a jumpable state for a normal jump. Eisen not getting the side flip he wanted, and instead just walking right out the door. He's just saying, nope, this place is too scary for me. I'm not going to end up in the next Jordan Peele movie.
It's the Abe Simpson gif where he walks in, takes the hat off, and then just, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, he's like, I'm out.
Me when I enter a costume party, but I'm dressed in normal clothing. Protoman just kind of waiting around for the boo to just do whatever it wants to do. Trying to get it desperately to move over. And like he can't really get a good cam up here since he's already like up here in the standard Lakitu cam. He's finally got the pound on it. He had to drag it back to the balcony. If a boo had legs, he was grabbing the toes. Like this is an unfortunate time loss for Proto. Right now, going on into Pillarless. A very technical trick. This is one of the 3 that I think most runners will agree is one of the hardest stars in 70, like with a reliable argument. Eisen throws the bomb away without getting his regrab there. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. It looked like a big bomb, but it could have still been medium. And getting a little bit trolled on this backup, but he's not dead, so he's just going to go for the backup on the pillar here.
It's kind of a swaggy side flip to kill the Talon. That was a very, like, action hero pose. Meanwhile, Protoman had to chase Mips right in front of SSL, but at least he didn't have to go on a bigger chase. Bunny was right where it needed to be, so that's not too bad.
A nice grab from Proto here. Going to be doing standard plus with the standard grab.
Heisenburger not able to get it. But here's a medium bomb plus. Extra ground pounds. Protoman definitely knows what he's doing. He's really, looking very smooth on this.
See, and that's really nice that he was able to do that. You very rarely see a player go for that, because I've been told that if you just throw the bomb away and do another attempt and get a big bomb, it's the same timing as doing medium bomb on that first attempt. Heisen having a lot of trouble getting the bomb regrab here. It's a frame perfect grab if you want big bomb. And that speed is a telltale sign of big bomb. I should have been able to tell on Protoman's attempt that wasn't big bomb, but because he went for it, I just assumed it was, because people almost never go for medium. That was really, really well executed. Like you have to have practiced that a lot. Medium bomb is definitely harder than standard plus to get right.
And meanwhile, I want to point out something Heisenburger did well. He had a really bad angle when he was jumping with the big bomb. So when you actually go for that double jump, you're being carried backward by the bomb's momentum. So you actually need to face Mario's back to that side of the pyramid. Pretty much exactly. But Heisenberger actually waited in the quicksand a little bit longer to ground pound. That changed his angle a bit more to veer him a bit toward the right. He was going way too far to the left. So that actually made his entry a lot smoother. So good on him for that one. Finally in lethal lava lane, but Proto, I want to say, it's not so far behind.
Oh, definitely not. No. And yeah, like that's part of what makes plus so hard is you have fairly few chances to change your angle because whenever you do that glitched regrab, you can do additional movement like double jumps or ground pounds that you can't normally do while holding, but if you move the stick at the wrong times, the bomb will just blow up in your face. Mario has to be in some sort of busy state, either like in the air or like sliding up a slope. He can't just be like on normal ground, just walking. And so, like, that requires a deep knowledge of where exactly to change your angle. And that's also why Tama is so much more difficult, is because when you do your regrab on the front of the slope, that's one of your big opportunities to adjust your angle. And with Tama, you get almost no opportunity during that
Yeah.
same movement. It's a very nuanced strat that takes a lot of grinding to be consistent at. It's just, there's so much going on in that short 15-second period. All right, nice ledge grab skip from Protoman.
Bit of an unfortunate ledge grab at the very end, but at least it didn't fall. Heisenberger, which one's he going for? It is the
It's
little
triple
bullies.
bully time. Oh, getting the extra ledge grab there, that'll probably mess up his triple kill here, but nope, he's still got it. Nice.
Okay.
It's a lot harder when you get a ledge grab. Also, that Z-Tech I was talking about earlier is involved in the movement towards these two stars. When you do that jump dive off of that like rounded wooden platform, you have to do that Z-Tech in order to make sure the jump dive comes out.
Yeah.
All right, now Heisen moving towards the volcano. It's a little interesting seeing these stars delayed for like last. In PB attempts, I think most runners will do these first just because they're more inconsistent.
I think it's a lot of the 120 habit, because in 120 you have to do the volcano last.
Oh, that's true, yeah. And despite all the 120 practice, Heisenberger's still able to do lava boost very reliably. It's one of the like other interesting things you see in 70, but not in 120 is lava boost.
Yeah, so that's definitely something that I'm sure Heisen was a little bit worried about. Glad to see him get that first try.
And luckily, long jump boost is very consistent when you've practiced it a lot.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's more so about just hitting the positions at the right times. Stuff like pro boost involves like sliding the stick between positions very smoothly. Whereas with long jump boost, it's just snap it to this position, then at this point, snap it to this position. Like the stick movement is a lot less nuanced.
Yeah, pretty much as clean cut as it gets. The Protoman elevator tour for star number 30. Heisenberger a little bit lost. I don't know what happened.
It might have been going
Out of
towards
basement.
Vanish Cap or something.
Yeah, maybe.
But he's on his way now into DDD, everyone's favorite water-based stage. I wonder what sort of creatures would be able to like live in a sealed but not sealed biome like this. Like, it's not like one of those like, you know, like garden in a jars or whatever they're called. Because like you do have like, you know, the free sky, like, you know, the air does circulate and stuff, but like no new creatures are getting in and out of those like huge rock walls surrounding this area. I'd be interested in a dissertation of like how many of these fish and other species could actually exist here.
Yeah.
You know, Heisen with nice execution on this star. That last turnaround on the fourth chest can be pretty difficult to get optimally. If you don't do it right, like what you're wanting to happen is for Mario to be far away from the vortex during the star spawning so that the vortex never even comes on screen.
Yeah, you want to like touch the chest as smoothly as possible so that you have full speed getting out of it. And it's also very easy to miss a swim when you're going by the vortex, because that lag will really mess up your timing.
Yeah, at that point you have to just like watch Mario's hands more so than rely on the audio cue. And even then, it's still very easy to miss a swim just from like that anticipation of doing the input.
Yeah.
Wait, lakes are a real thing? Wow, I had no idea. Like even the Great Lakes are real? I thought that was just Michigan having a bad excuse for being shaped all weird.
Okay then.
Wow. I didn't know. Nice rear sub from Heisen. And Protoman also going for the same. No front sub shenanigans here. The back fin is just fine for these players. And a nice mana ray from Heisenburger.
Yeah, that's
He's
one you
about to be
hate.
moving into Fire Sea. Let's see if Heisenburger gets grilled or if he'll be staying raw throughout this. The Doug Man, yes. Like these are verifiable runs. So if someone somehow managed to get a world record, it would definitely count.
We have had a PB in the league before. So that has gone up and been verified on the boards. But meanwhile, Heisenberger, I don't know, can't find up a...
Oh, not getting the side flip
Wow.
there. That is a bad way of missing
Side
lava
flip.
boost.
That's a bit of a bro moment. Can't be having that one. Protoman,
Yeah.
big opportunity.
Early Ellie's is going to be very tight. It might not even be possible anymore. Yeah, the elevators are already coming down. It's dead. So Protoman has the opportunity to save tons of time here.
All right, where's he at? Does he have time to make this still? No.
He definitely has time for early Ellie.
Oh, he's coughing.
The sarcophagus being sealed. King Tootin' Mario is dead in the lava. Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
Need to dial it back a little bit. King Tootin' Mario. It's unreal.
It is. Sorry, I'm sure my mic was in a great position for that. I'm sure it definitely didn't just distort like crazy. I mean, that sarcophagus just hurts when that happens. Oh, just getting burned on like every surface he can this time around. That's huge time waste. He's probably not going to be able to make early Ellies on this one either. See, and at least then the platforms, yeah, getting bullied out of it. Wow, that's really unfortunate for Proto.
Protoman really digging his own grave here, but Heisenberger is going to be moving on to upstairs. Kind of got a lucky break with what happened to Protoman, but at the same time, you know, he got through it. It didn't go well, but he got through it. And when you mess up the second time when you're Protoman, it's going to be really hard to come back.
Yeah. It's not impossible, but like with a start like this, you just have to completely reset your mentality going upstairs in order to really have a chance at this. But it's certainly not impossible. I know for a lot of runners, it's like once you get past Fire Sea, it feels like a new run has started. Like getting through Fire Sea is the gauntlet, and then getting upstairs is your little bit of a treat all the way until you get to Tippy.
Sometimes Wedjar World is a killer. It kind of depends on the person, but some people like Benny have like notoriously struggled with the 100 coin. Like, I don't know why, but like it's happened with quite a few people.
I think it's very easy to struggle with that if the nerves are bad.
This is like a really key star to watch because he's actually doing the box break, and not many people do. He didn't actually go for the long jump. He knew his timing wasn't great because he took a lot more time to get through the little hole at the bottom. But like, he usually would go for a long jump and then try to wall kick around. He took it safe, but still converted that star really well. So
yeah, that was still really fast, especially with like the triple on-in kick that he did at the start.
Yeah.
And oh, barely not clearing there to start out top of the town. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I really thought he had it.
Same here. It's good that time. And that platform rotates so fast that like you have to be mindful of your movement on it. It's very easy to make a mistake and lose a ton of time there. I think Proto was going to try for it, but his jump dive was a little bit weird, so just decided not to go with that awkward timing. And I think a lot of what can mess people up about 100 coin is like there's only so much muscle memory you can develop for this star. There's a lot of just randomness that you have to be able to account for.
Yeah.
And if you're already super nervous from finally getting a good fire sea run, like it just doesn't help things at all. It's very easy to like look at where the Skeeter is and be like, I should do this, and then turns out the Skeeter moves the way you didn't think he should have, or just other
Exactly.
weird things like that. Nice backup from Heisen. I've never really thought to kick there like that. He was able to get his triple jump still exactly where he wanted it because of that.
Nice. Alright, Protoman missing the long jump. That's annoying. But you do actually have to get the long jump pretty quickly, because the Skeeter, no matter what, he moves toward you. So you got a long jump right away to land on him. Protoman didn't get the right timing.
Heisenburger falling off the wooden plank here.
Don't do this. Ah! Okay,
okay, it worked out, but God, that was scary. Nice backup there. He knew something bad was happening. Good, good. Okay. That lost way less time than it should have.
One thing is that make long jumps very, well, I would say one thing that makes long jumps, like the precise long jumps, very difficult is that in a long jump, you don't just kind of go in like a very, you know, linear pattern and then like gently drop off. You go horizontally and then you just like very steeply arc downward. So like the next time someone does a long jump, like I'll guess we'll hope see Heisenburger do it. Like you fall very quickly after you go your like most of your distance. So when you have to long jump and barely make it, like how should I say this? For that backup where you have to long jump and barely make it, you have to be at the very edge. So it's basically a frame perfect timing. Maybe a couple frames depending on which jump in particular. But having to be kind of that much of a daredevil can make it go wrong.
Yeah, and like it's just especially that backup. If you end up missing it, you're potentially losing tons of time because the backup from the ground level is fairly awkward, and even a top level runner can have some trouble with it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's just you never want to fall down is the big thing. Like you want to stay on this wooden platform once you get up here, and then likewise like you want to fall right down to the stone pillar. All right, nice secrets from Heisen. DHI not living up to its name today, not being a horrible island. Let's see if we get an island clip out of Heisen. And he's actually going for piranhas next? Okay, interesting.
Okay.
All right, Proto with his own secrets now.
Here we go.
All right, nicely done from Proto. Now Heisen gonna go back in for top of the island real quick. He's done messing around with his star order here. Very nicely executed from Heisen. Saving like pretty much as much time as you can. Meanwhile, Proto's just gonna go with the roundabout movement, completely skipping over the island clip there.
Alright, TTM though, this could be a pretty difficult stage, and not just for the mountain clip stars. Reds is maybe one of the toughest in all of upstairs, so we'll have to see how Heisen handles it, and Protoman of course.
And even not dying on Reds, it's very easy to just lose 5 to 10 seconds just from like random little bobbles here and there. The maze is very sadistically constructed, and then this can happen too. So Heisen's gonna be backing this up with Reds instead of trying to do like mushroom backup or like Star backup or something. So this is a point of difficulty. That rollout to get those 3 coins in series is pretty challenging to get consistent. You have to grind that a ton. This triple jump can be hard to set up, and it's very easy to bonk on that wall adjacent to the 7th coin. And Heisenburger passing over the side flip wall kick strat in order to get that 8th red. That strat is also extremely difficult to get right. Like you have very little room to get away from the wall the distance you need for a wall kick to come out, and like the position of the wall kick is also tight.
It's one of those where you have to like hold left when you do the side flip and then right on the wall kick, because you have to kind of like banana arc around the little wall that holds the 8th red.
It's just really weird, awkward movement.
Yeah, Heisenberger going for a bunch of kicks. They ended up doing the same start, but you could see that Protoman definitely gained time on that one.
Okay, now let's see what this next star looks like for our players here. Okay. Proto coming up top. Eisen just behind. This triple jump is one that like you have to grind out in order to get consistent as well. Like it's very easy when you're just starting to practice that strat to end up like falling off the edge by accident for dumb reasons. Cause like it's as soon as you like ledge grab up there, you have to use that position as close as it is to that ledge to then like run forward and jump up.
Yeah, it's
very
a
easy to miss time.
It's kind of funny how they're all doing the same stars, except Heisen is one ahead.
Right. Right, Red's gonna be coming out for Protoman. You know, I gotta be real, I've never quite understood why people use the camera angle Proto is using here, because it requires a lot of like out of notch movement, like towards upright. And I find it's easier to just use the mushroom camera there. Like, I guess the approach probably loses a little bit of time that way, but like you're still doing the same movement at least.
What do you mean by the mushroom camera?
Well, like the Mario Cam setup that you use when you're going towards Blasted and Lonely Mushroom. Or like as soon as you do your first long jump, you Mario Cam C down.
Yeah, I agree.
And then when you do that, like you just do a slight up left, and like that's the only real out of notch that you have to do, like to go like around that first corner. Heisen falling off that wall kick.
Protoman going for breezeless.
And it's good! Nice!
Let's go.
Shoutouts to Protoman, that's awesome. That's strat,
No
like
Owless, but breezeless though.
Yeah, the strat that saves less time and is harder. The problem there is you're trying to wall kick like and get as much height as possible as you can, while also staying as close to that wall as you can. You need the fence to be close enough to Mario that it tries to clip him inside, but you also have to have the height so that when that fence does that, you have a platform to land on. Otherwise, like you'll just be pushed right back out after the fence tries to clip you in. So like that's a really hard strat to get, and it only saves 2 seconds over doing the Breeze Star. And it's much harder than just doing a triple jump with very low speed and getting an early wall kick for Owless. But hey, that's neither here nor there. Like, I'm proud of Protoman for getting that.
Interesting that they're also going for the bully early. This is almost always the star you see last because it's the easiest. It's even easier than Deep Freeze, because Deep Freeze you can actually mistime things and mess it up. This one, as long as you get your angles good, you should have it every time. I mean, everything's easier said than done, but like, it is probably one of the easiest in the run.
Yeah, like nothing on the bully star is particularly like precise. The biggest thing is just like making sure your cam is delayed so that like you get pretty close to the tree without having a chance of grabbing the tree. Like you want to see left like as Mario's landing, if I remember right.
Pretty much. Protoman got a pretty okay snowman's head, did not go for the advanced strat, so it kind of seems like he just kind of picks and chooses what he wants to go for. Like breezeless was kind of just for fun.
Yeah, I bet you that was like, mainly just because failing it only loses a total of 4 seconds.
Breezeless is pretty costly if you fail it, because when you ground pound and you don't get it, you take fall damage.
Oh, that's
so that
true,
also loses like another 3 or 4.
I can definitely see his thought process. Like, if you don't actually get the wall kick, like, let's say you slide under the platform, then you have to take a backup star instead. If you,
Yeah.
like, do, like, bonk instead of getting the wall kick, then, like, you have a good chance of falling in the snow and taking that time loss. Like, you're right, though. It's a weird kind of picking and choosing. Like, I guess it's just the strats that he feels more comfortable with and not really
Yeah.
justified by a time thing.
I'd say it's definitely more of that. He's just doing it for fun. We like to see a little bit of spectacle if we're watching, so I'll take that.
He's giving it to us, yep.
S-
So now we got Heisen with triple box jump here. Not quite tripling, though. Nice jumping to make sure that Scuttlebug would be under him instead of bonking him.
Yeah, very unfortunate timing there. It is kind of awkward to time the box jump because you can either hit it on your way up, where you pretty much like clip the top surface, so you actually like hit into it going upwards onto the corner, and that's
Or you
like
have
you
to
want to
land
press
on
A instantly. Yeah, or you land on it late, which is what Heisen did. So when you land on it late, you tend to over anticipate.
it. Yeah,
Protoman hit it well.
you see that like with a few different platforms in the game. Like that is a tech that if Mario like is going up and like happens to hit a corner in a particular way, like he'll be clipped up. You mainly see that with platforms that aren't like square with their walls. Like the triangles towards the top of TTC, you'll see some top level runners do like jump dives into those triangles and they'll like clip you up if you hit the edge of it properly.
Yeah, that's because it's a tight corner. The box is more like you're going into it with speed, but you don't bong. So instead, you just kind of push on it, and then once you get enough height, you're over it.
Yeah.
So it was that as opposed to arcing down onto the box. So you saw Heisen there. He actually did arc down and hit the jump. But if you want to watch like the spreadsheet record, it'll actually brush up onto the box just to get a smaller double jump.
Yeah, it is a little faster, but it's
Yeah.
not something that matters a ton in a
Yeah.
run, just like you
But
said
I'm
in
just
single
saying how
star.
the mistake happened.
And that's the type of nuance that we talk about though, like just a slight variance in your like horizontal position in relation to the box, and suddenly the timing for that jump is a little different. And you can't just always hit the A button late because then like if you do get that clip, then it'll just not count as a triple jump because of how late you'd have to hit it. So it's just
Yeah.
like you just have to be like paying a lot of attention and know the game well enough to see on your approach what kind of box movement you're getting. But now Heisenburger approaching Tippy. Protoman just behind after that quick shig drop. Speaking of the HMC music, like, I don't know how, but it wasn't until I had been watching this game for like 2 years in runs and races and stuff that I finally realized that the HMC music is just a remix of the SMB1 like sewer music. Like
Yeah.
I never realized that in all my time playing this game as a kid or just like 2 years of watching it in speedruns. I just never realized. Just like that Lakitu never realized that Mario was about to hop on him before Heisenberger used that boost.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say that Nintendo never realized that you'd be able to get on the pole that way, but then I wonder why else it was there. Very interesting level design from them.
I think there's a few things in this game that had to have been the developers saying, we don't know how this is possible, but someone might be able to figure it out and have a lot of fun with it. But they probably only meant it as like a thing to challenge yourself, but never expected it to be like a tech for a speedrun or something. Protoman getting bodied by the Lakitu rather than getting a bounce. Really unfortunate. Just didn't have the height whenever he finally did hit the Lakitu. Oh, and then another death trying to wall kick for tricky triangles. Rainbow Ride just not quite working well for Protoman.
On the other hand, Heisenberger had pretty good reds. I think he had a decent Lakitu bounce. So he's really working to hold on to this lead. It's not over for sure, because TTC has probably been the worst stage for a lot of runners. Oh, Protoman, good backup.
Yeah, tricky triangles is going to be collected this time around, so he does have his first star, but Heisen only has one more left, so it's looking a bit dire for Proman in Rainbow Ride, but TTC I feel like can be even more variable sometimes. Especially TTC 100, you can lose a ton of time to, as we saw with the last race.
Yeah. Proman getting this slack 2 bounce, going for an extra jump kick up to grab the pole higher and not from the bottom. Very slow here to get that triple jump dive, but he is getting it, and I think like it's very under control. I think like you could look at a faster lack 2 bounce and say, oh, he lost like 4 seconds overall. But I'm not going to fault him too much. He will need to try to either pick it up big time or hope for Heisen to make a mistake. And I think he entered on slow time. That
Yeah,
would
he
be
definitely
really bad.
Yep, there it is.
Okay, he's going to have to lose about 5 seconds-ish going for get a hand or rolled in the cage.
And
Yeah.
this is going to mean that he has to deal with an extra time-stopped entry that takes like 3 or so seconds. Yeah, so roll into the cage is his final decision there. Not a bad choice, but losing plenty of time for sure.
Yeah.
Now let's see. Sometimes you see people. Okay, he's just going to go ahead and go back in time moving. You'll see some people go ahead and just still go ahead and do their time stop stars first when that type of stuff happens. And now we got time moving triples happening. He's only got to do 2 of these rather than 3 since he did go ahead and get rolled into the cage.
Yeah, safe start for pendulums. I'm a fan of this.
Same. If you're gonna do the time moving triple, like for a race, I feel like that's the way to go rather than trying to rely on like a pendulum position or something else like that.
Well, the pendulum's not RNG. You just have to be pretty fast.
Yeah,
So,
and you have to have a good perception of like how fast you moved up the stage.
yeah, I think you can usually tell, but it does happen to depend a lot on how much you hold down A. Like your jump weight has to be pretty minimal. Otherwise, you have a lot of airtime, and that makes it tight. And also, just for the camera to change, I know we're kind of going on about this for a while, but you have to have enough time to change your angle in long jump, and if you hold A for too long, you're just like floating in the air, you're cutting out that space you need to make the turn. So it's pretty difficult to get the star that way.
It requires a lot of precision with your timing on like just holding A rather than just like when you press it.
Yeah.
That's like I think a lot of runners will agree that that's honestly harder than like timing an A press is timing an A release, to be really precise. Especially like when you're trying to optimize how low certain jumps are, it can be really difficult to get the shortest possible.
Oh, Protoman missing the long jump. He's not able to get the walk either. I think he was going to try to get that backup, but it did not work out at all.
Wow, that's unfortunate.
Really took a death on probably the easiest kind of ending of a star in the stage.
You can't really say easiest start because any time moving triple is always a bit of a Monka-S. It's a pretty tight timing, but the ending of it is just hold angle, wait, long jump, long jump. But there's a lot of like little variability that can happen if you're trying to do it.
Heisenburger getting that TC 100 done. He almost lost a coin, but was able to recover it. Meanwhile, Protoman is also doing 100 coin, but he's stuck on here doing this backup. This is another part where it's very vital how long you hold A for. It also depends on your speed, because your speed affects how high you go when you hold A. This just takes a lot of intuition. But yeah, Protoman was not doing very well with it.
We do have Proto. It looks like he's kind of picked up his rhythm now, and he's moving through the clock as you would normally expect. Meanwhile, Heisen with time jumps on moving bars real quick.
Protoman did get the safety red, so unlike Heisen, he didn't have to chase that last coin.
I think it's always a smart idea to go ahead and get the safety red in a race. It doesn't lose that much time, and like you don't want to have to get the backup box on the end here. It's really challenging to do optimally and very easy to lose major time on.
Yeah, it's a really good shot for people to pick up, even in PB attempts. Because it's at the end of the run, you've seen people like Liam and Cheese do it. So I think like there's really a good solid like foundation or like good evidence to point to as like why it's a good idea. Oh,
What was that about olive oil burning? Are you trying to cook in the commentators booth here? You know there's no food allowed. Okay, I saw you had to mute your mic there a sec.
Everything's under control.
The
House
olive oil is not
down.
burning?
Who knows?
I want to make sure this olive oil is okay.
I wonder if they're like making popcorn or something.
Why would you need olive oil for popcorn?
I have no idea, but I think they're watching a movie, so I don't know what they're making.
Tell them they should make linguine. I think that's a good movie compliment.
Okay.
As long as we're all on the same page. Heisenburger, however, on the page that is at the very end of the book. Bowser in the sky. A bit of a challenging stage at the end of a run, but honestly, it's the easiest of the 3 Bowser stages in this run, by far. The movement just flows really well, and the cycle importance is very low. Like, Fire Sea getting Lava Boost cycle is very tight. Dark World, you can easily lose a little bit of time on Shig, and there's a lot of easy points to take a death. Like, there's still hard points in this star, especially, like, this woodblock movement here, but... Like, I think mainly just the pressure of a cycle being gone makes this a lot easier than the other 2 stages.
Yeah, I would say Dark World Reds is easier, but this is not too bad. The thing is, you can die or, like, actually lose way more time. I guess not more than Fire Sea. But in Dark World, if you don't die, you're probably not going to lose more than 5 seconds. In here, you can lose, like, 30-ish if you failed moving wall kick twice or whatever.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
Bowser stages are actually a lot of fun and some of the best to actually learn the game. But in terms of runs, good throw, Eisen. I think he must have just forgot where the bombs were. Because if you look at the stage, it's got a bunch of like points. It's basically like, I think it's like a 10 or 12 point.
It's a
decagon.
Dodecahedron refers to 10, right? Or is that 12?
I don't know if Hedron. I think that's
sorry, Decagon. That's what I'm thinking of.
Is 12. But yeah. Or is that 20? Because I'm thinking of like, I know people who play Magic the Gathering and they have like D20s. Oh wait, it's not even Magic? I don't know.
I think it's
anyway,
Magic,
Heisenburger gonna... Oh, I thought he hit the throw. Rip. Protoman is in bits.
There it is.
I think we're still gonna see Heisen take it home. Yeah.
And we got Protoman pulling out like the Manama style movement. Okay.
I don't think that was a Manama cycle, but I will go look at the footage and tell you.
Well, like he did like the dive onto the elevator right into a side flip, for instance, and like other stuff like that.
He must have made some mistake at the very beginning.
Because his last elevator wasn't exactly where you expect it for Manama, but...
Yeah. Protoman went all the way up. He didn't do an angled triple jump dive. I mean, he did, but it wasn't like from like the sharpest possible angle.
I see.
But that'll be a win for Heisen.
And Proto not too far behind. Let's see what fight he gets here. Looking confident in it so far. Oh, and as soon as I say that, miss throw. It's all good. He's got Bowser by the tail again. And that one's going to be another miss just because it didn't hit the land there. If it would have hit the land, it definitely would have still hit the bomb. Oh, and just a little bit early on that throw, too. He had a really good first throw, but these last ones just haven't quite been working out for him. There he goes. GG to Protoman as well. Not a bad run, honestly. Like, still a really solid performance from Proto.
Yeah, that one could have gone a lot better in the end game. But I think, like, Heisenburger really needed the win. So, I think he's also been more active. Hats off to Protoman, maybe next time. But we'll see. Currently, they're still kind of outside the realm of playoffs, but Heisenburger going to be up to 3-6. So maybe it's possible. I'm not too sure about that, but definitely check these runners out. I know Heisen does 120 more often than 70. I think he streams a few days a week. It kind of depends on the rest of his life, but he's cool. in
Yeah, he's
Protos.
definitely one to follow. He's been improving a fair amount on 120.
He hasn't PB'd in a long time, but like he's an interesting runner where like you would think he's overdue and he gets a lot of runs, but they don't all turn out. But yeah, that's about it for us. If you got anything else to say, go ahead. But if not, I'm good.
Yeah, that'll be it for this race. A nice solid race. We've got one more tonight though, Benji versus Drogi, that'll be coming up right after this quick intermission. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. My name is Electric. Badronis, it's been a pleasure calming this one with you.
Yo, thank you,
So
and no problem.
we'll see y'all in just a few minutes. Peace out. Stay
Later.
tuned.
They are synced.
They are synced now. Do whatever. In the lead again.
Wow. Side for sure from